So let's say you've just finished up a BikeCAD model that you're happy with. You've spent a lot of time on the frame geometry itself, focused a little bit on the paint scheme. You've worked to lay out this arrangement of dimensions that surround the bike and communicate your design. You've placed the bike inside this border, which you get when you select the title block option, and you've configured the title block so it fits nicely. You've applied some notes to here. So after having done all that work, of course you're going to want to go File, Save, and save your design, as I've done just now. But it would also be nice to be able to save just elements of what we've done so that we can reuse those elements in other models. For example, this arrangement of dimensions that surround my bike. It would be nice to be able to just plop those in to another design. It would be nice to just plop in this paint scheme that I've configured with my preferred colors. Well, you can do that with BikeCAD Pro version 6.5. We now have the Save Template option. So you can see all the different categories of templates you can save. Under Dimensions, you could save a template that stores your arrangement of dimensions. I'll just call this My Dimensions. That's not a very descriptive name, but I'll use it anyways. Under File, Save Template, Paint, we could save this paint scheme. Call it My Flame Scheme. Under Save Template Bike, we could save the overall bike design, which includes the frame and the components. So under Bike here, I could call it My Mountain Bike. You can do the same for the display. That includes what components are displayed and what are not displayed. Basically, it's everything in the display dialog box, so the icons across the top of it, as well as the checkboxes controlling the display of components. So that's under Display. Notes would just include any on-screen notes, as well as the notes that appear in your title block. Rider would just be the body dimensions of the rider that you may choose to show on the bike using the rider option. So you could store a catalog or a database of all your customers you've built for. And photo, if you do import a photo to underlay behind the bike, you can save that as a template which will remember the photo and remember the exact scale and position of the photo. You can also store the title block as a scheme. That just basically records all this data here used in the Setup Title Block dialog box. So once we've saved some of these templates, we can open up other designs. Say open up just a typical road bike. We could apply that dimension scheme that we just worked on in our last model. Open Template, Dimensions, My Dimensions, you'll remember that one. Go Open Template, and all the same arrangement of dimensions we had before will appear on the screen. If we go to the Open Template Paint option, we can go to My Flame Scheme, which you'll recall we just saved earlier. So we apply the same paint scheme as we had on our mountain bike to the road bike. There are a few predefined paint schemes in BikeCAD Pro, a grayscale version. If you open the template, everything will just be sort of grayscale. Not a lot of schemes have been saved for you. The paint scheme template includes all the data in the paint dialog box, which includes the name on the logo, and the expectation is that owners of BikeCAD Pro are going to want to put their own logo in there. So owners of BikeCAD Pro might as well just save their own preferred paint schemes rather than relying on default scheme. Another default scheme that is included in BikeCAD Pro is under Display. We have a frame and fork default display, which if we open that template would give us just the frame and the fork and nothing else, because that's fairly common. We also have under Display the typical display, so you can just pull up all the typical components including wheel, saddle, handlebars, etc. So that's a little run through of the template option in BikeCAD Pro.